Welcome to Revsportz. I'm Gargi, Raut, and I'm joined by Bharath, Ramaraj, and we're outside of the Bowring Hospital where all the patients, all the people that were injured, all the people that passed away were brought in after the stampede broke out outside of the Chinnaswamy Stadium. We're going to be recounting our experience because Bharath was at the starting point of the victory parade while I was stuck outside of the Chinnaswamy Stadium. I'll start with you, Bharath. We've spoken to witnesses and we will add that clip very soon. But we've spoken to witnesses. But what was your experience at the beginning of the parade? Because we understand that outside the stadium, a lot of people wanted to get in as well. But where the parade had started, what was the situation there?
Yes, see, I came at around 1 p.m. 1 p.m. yesterday. At that time, it was very much, there was a touch of calm countenance around, in the sense that one could walk through the stretch of 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer without any hassle. That was at that time. It was maybe around 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. It felt as if the things would get out of hand because some of them were climbing up on the gate, that is basically to get inside the Vidhan Sauda, which obviously is not allowed. And then there were a few others who had climbed up on the top of the bus. They were dancing on the bus. They wanted to sit from the top of that government bus, which obviously had to be stopped because there was a lot of jam around. And then a few of them had climbed up on a couple of statues. Again, they wanted to get the best vantage point from there. And the crowd had swelled to around maybe 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh around that time. I guess the crowd was around 2.5 lakh or around 2.5 lakhs at Chinnaswamy. That's what I've heard. It was here around maybe 1.5 lakhs around 2:33 p.m. And yes, at that time there was enough mayhem. Enough people had climbed, not enough, hundreds people had climbed up on the railings. Again, they wanted to get the best vantage point. And maybe around 4:40 p.m., maybe around 4:40 p.m., the bus arrived. Unfortunately, around that time there was rain as well. Persistent rain. Because of that, people were running helter-skelter, and there was a lot of pushing, jostling, and even I got hit here or there on my legs and my hands as I started pushing around. And somehow we got a little bit of shelter again. There was mayhem, there was bedlam out there because it was raining. At least for 10-15 minutes it rained in that place. And then when it stopped, the bus was about to go, and again people rushed out because they wanted to get a glimpse of it. Obviously there was no parade, as you know, so the players were inside that bus after meeting Shiv Kumar, the Deputy Chief Minister, and the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. And yes, I could catch a glimpse of the bus before it went away. So yes, there was chaos, there was a lot of bedlam out there, and there was a little bit of lathi charge as well. Police were not able to control, especially those who had got onto the top of the bus, and were then some of them had got on top of the van. And that is how the situation was right till 5:36 p.m.
And how did you manage to get out?
Yeah, I managed to get out the way I came in, basically. Somehow I had to wriggle out through those lakhs of people. Maybe in a different way, if you look at it, not the right way. That rain perhaps helped because suddenly people dispersed here or there, and I could wriggle out of it because a lot of people had run away with rain around.
Well, the situation was much more different at the end point of that victory, of what was supposed to be a victory parade, where I was at. I was supposed to enter, and this is where the media was supposed to enter, from gate number 12. That is what we all had been told, by the management and all of that. We had been sent messages that your entry is from gate 12 and 13. So I had entered that area. Of course, for the bus to pass by safely, they had barricaded both the footpaths, so the crowds had very little space to move around. There was not enough space to move through with the keeping in mind the volume of crowd that there was. But at the same time, I had managed to get in. Now, as I got in, rain started pelting. On the other hand, crowds were also swelling. Crowds were swelling left and right, and at one point the crowd came to a standstill. There was no space to move, there was no space to get out. There were a few kind people around, who were helping each other out, who were trying to sort of manage the situation, make sure that there's no panic anywhere being set in, even though, there were a few fans who were saying that they couldn't breathe, there were a few fans who were getting pushed around. But I jumped over a little bit of a fence or a barricade, or so to say, and got into the area where the bus, where they had made space for the bus to move around. And, that's where I finally managed to escape the crowd. And by that time, the team bus had passed through. So people were also sort of started dispersing because there was nothing to see anymore. As I went towards the gate and went inside, and into the press box, I realized that the celebrations had started inside. But it was a very stark difference from what was happening outside. We were hearing, and the death toll kept rising at that point around, and the celebrations also kept going on. It was a bit disturbing. It was a bit heartbreaking to watch. As the celebration started inside, I went to the other side of the press box where there are a lot of windows and you can overlook the main entry. And I was standing there, and while on one hand I'm hearing inside cheers and the celebrations and some music or whatever, and on the other hand from the outside all I could hear was sirens blaring. So that was a pretty disturbing situation to be in. After that, we were told that there was going to be a press conference. Rajat Patidar, Andy Flower were supposed to come in and speak to the media, but that had gotten cancelled. And it seems like now, from the reports that we have read and what the Deputy Chief Minister has said, that it was all stopped, or the celebrations were contained because of the situation that had brewed outside. But this was the whole entire experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess at the Vidhan Saudha the worst situation came when there was rain around, because suddenly people were up on the railings looking to just in order to see their heroes, and I was around the railings as well because I also wanted to catch a glimpse. That is when there was a lot of pushing, there was a lot of jostling. That is when it felt like there would be a stampede like situation. But as I noted, in some ways the rain helped because suddenly a lot of people ran away with persistent rain around. I think they went down the road so that they can get some kind of shelter. But I think that was the situation when it felt a bit scary because yes, I got hit a few times on my hands, on my legs, on my body. So that was the time when it felt like there was a stampede like situation. But thankfully nothing really happened around Vidhan Saudha. As I noted, maybe that little bit of persistent rain helped in some ways.
Yeah.
Because people just ran away from there. A lot of them.
Well, that was our experience at the Chinnaswamy and Vidhan Saudha where Bharath was. But here's an account of an eyewitness who was here right outside of the Bowring Hospital, listening to what he has to say. I'm here with a vendor who's right outside the Bowring Hospital, and he's going to tell us about what happened and what went down last night after the stampede had happened. I will help, Bharath will help me, who is behind the camera, in translating. Bharath, please ask him about what happened yesterday.
ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ಅದೇ ಅದು ಸ್ಟೇಡಿಯಮಿಂದ ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗಿ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಒಂದು 6-7 ಜನ ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನಾಯ್ತು?
ಅದೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 6-7 ಜನ ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು 23 ಜನ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ
ಅದೇ ಗೇಟ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಸ್ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ.
How many ambulances came in?
ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಂಬುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ಆಂಬುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು 5-6 ಆಂಬುಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we've spoken to a witness here, a fruit seller whose cart is right across from the hospital, right opposite where I'm standing. Behind me is the Bowring Hospital. And from what he said, and I will translate because he was speaking in the local language, but from what he said, what we have gathered is that around 5 to 6 ambulances had rolled in one after the other. there is a possibility that there could be more, but this is what he saw. And 6 to 7 people that had come in those ambulances were already dead. They were dead on arrival, and the others that were injured were being treated inside. So that's how chaotic the situation was outside of the Bowring Hospital. Right now, if you look behind me, there's heavy policing everywhere. Obviously, ministers and other political figures are also making their presence felt here. They are visiting the families, giving them their condolences, and trying to figure out and inquire what really went down. But as of now, the security is pretty tight. No one is allowed, except of course visitors and families, and people who really want to get treated are not allowed inside of the stadium.
ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನೋ ಜಗಳ ಅಂತಪ್ಪ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ 15